Here's what happened, guys. Big retail stores are using electronic pricing. I remember going to Whole Foods for the first time and seeing electronic price tags, and it's not crazy that this is something that's going to be happening in the future on a larger scale because we're seeing it in real time. Then there are a lot of younger people that are wanting human first, physical world first, rather than AI first, virtual world first. This is an opportunity for small business owners to create stability in the marketplace and differentiate in the marketplace in a world that is becoming more and more unpredictable and more chaotic for the everyday American. And that is an opportunity that we cannot lose sight of and actually be able to promote through marketing, through the customer experience, to show the human first approach, the physical world approach for whatever type of business that you have across over 1,000 industries here in the US. Technology is here to stay. AI is not going back in the box, but as small business owners, we can put boundaries on technology and we can start to differentiate of what we're putting as a priority for how we do business. And really putting the care of the customer first, making sure that they're taken care of and they feel cared for, rather than just another number or deciding to try to make things more convenient for the company over the customer. And this is where we're going to have to go the extra step here as small business owners and really improve our skills in communication, skills in management, skills in systems, in order to make sure that that distinction of stability in a world that is more and more chaotic and unpredictable becomes clear for the potential new client, customer, the person that we are serving across the over 1,000 industries here in the US. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the show. Happy Tuesday. So this is coming up. I want to share with you. Let me share with you here from Gronk with electronic pricing. So right here, it shows major U.S. retailers using electronic pricing as of early 2026. You got Walmart, you got Kroger, Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh, Kohl's. And there's a big push with the big retailers to go to electronic pricing. And it makes sense. Like you think about how instead of taking days to have to change the price tags and the labor costs with that, you could do it in minutes. And then there would be less mistakes that could be made in these bigger retail stores. I see it from the benefit for the business, but then what does that do for the customer? Well, we could see where this is going for the future. We're smart to know what's going on here. It could get to the point where you're grabbing a bottle of milk and it's one price right when you grabbed it. And then when you look back at the price changed. What can that then do if we expand that out and scale that to every single aspect of our life for things that we're buying? And we constantly aren't able to know the exact price until we make the purchase. So on one end, you can have it feel like a game, but then on another, when you're trying to work within a budget and make sure that you're able to get your basic needs met, and especially with the affordability crisis that we're dealing with right now here in the US, that creates a lot of stress and a lot of chaos and frustration and resentment. Go back to on the show, I talked about Uber. I go back to that example where at first I looked at the price and it was one price, and then when I checked back a few minutes later, the price increased, and that made me pissed. Like I was really frustrated with that. And then I remember with flights, as an example, as you get closer and closer to the day that you're going to fly, the price increases, and sometimes it can increase rapidly in just a matter of a few days. As you get closer, and that becomes frustrating. But the problem that can come up is like, okay, there's this feeling that there's no other alternative. Well, this is where small business owners can come in and show that they are an alternative here. That is something we have to expand on in the marketing. And there's different strategies you could do this that I want to share with you as examples. One would be having a part-time, if it's a sales employee, customer service employee that's working 3 days a week, but they answer right away any incoming sales inquiries or customer questions that are coming in, and they're on it. They're right on top of it. Because the other example of a business not picking up the phone, or you're not able to even leave a message because they haven't cleared out their inbox or set up their voicemail inbox, or it takes like an hour to talk to someone or get a response through email. And AI is here to stay. Technology is here to stay. It's going to continue to improve, but it's knowing how to leverage this technology on the back end for the system. So then you, as a small business owner with your team, you're able to have the human first approach when connecting with your customers, clients, the people that you are serving, and then making sure that you're able to create stability with examples of saying, like a local restaurant setting a menu price for the week, saying it's not going to change for the week, creating that stability for people coming in that are wanting to experience the restaurant. This is something that you can think of different creative ideas. If you have other new ideas, you can share that too in the comments for different ideas that you're trying that have a human first approach that may be unconventional, may not be convenient at first, or maybe not easy to implement at the beginning. It may take a little bit more effort from a small business for your small business to do this, but you've noticed in the long term, it's created a massive success of creating a good customer base, people coming back, trust, stability, because we're experiencing more of that in our world, in our country. And people are seeking out stability. The problem is we want to make sure that seeking out the stability doesn't mean that we get to a point where there's a consolidation of power and then we lose our freedoms as Americans. We really do have to be vigilant about that in the times that we're living in, because there are evil forces that are out there. We have the Epstein class, and then I keep saying this worldview of the powerful and the rest of us. And the powerful are there to try to divide us. And that's where we get into these right and left issues that are there to try to divide us because a house divided cannot stand. But when we unite together and we push back and we say that we want to preserve these freedoms that we have as individuals, like our freedom of speech and other freedoms to be able to own our small business, and be able to have all these different industries that we get to decide to create a business in, it helps to then shape the future moving forward to make America's future a small business renaissance. And I even want to bring this back up. I'm going to bring it back up here so you can see this. Let's go back to the Declaration of Independence right here. I want to read this section. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I go to the liberty, freedom that we can take for granted here in this country, and the opportunity to be able to own our small business, to be able to criticize our government through freedom of speech. These are rights that we have to preserve, and it's what is great about our country. And then we have to fight for what is beautiful, good, and true, and show alternatives out there to the American people. Show that, hey, you're calling us, and there is someone here in this store that is answering your call, not someone from another country, but someone here in America that's answering your call, that wants to know what is going on, what are the challenges you're dealing with. And we, as small business owners, have a really amazing opportunity right now with this big push for trying to go into AI. It feels like the westward expansion in the American history, where you think of textile, when you can think of the different industries, mainly it was an agrarian society for our country back in 1776 to around 1860s. We had that first industrial revolution with the mill, and you had these textile mills that were really successful, but they were staying on the East Coast. And then they were supporting with cloth and fabric the businesses that were expanding out west that were then selling to families. And there's an opportunity here that, yes, AI, you could use this in different ways, and I use AI for research. But then there's an opportunity here when it comes to how you connect with your customers, clients, people that you're serving through your products and services, to actually go back to the traditional human to human interactions, and focusing on that, doubling down on that, and creating amazing, effective systems to be able to amplify that. And yes, it may be a little bit more effort in the short term, a little bit more work in the short term, but in the long term, there could be immense benefit for the trust that gets built over time and the relationships that form. And we are in a loneliness epidemic, depression crisis here in the U.S. with younger people, and that there's a desire, a craving to seek the human connection and the physical experiences, in-person experiences. And the more you can move your strategies towards making sure that you have human first, physical world first, I believe in the long term that's going to have immense value for your business and for the community that you're building within your business and your community overall that you're part of. There's an important reminder that there's a big opportunity here for that distinction to be shared with the community at large. So we're going to see how this continues to play out with the dynamic pricing, but I haven't experienced anyone that's been excited for the prices to increase dramatically as you get closer to having to book the flight or having to get book the Uber or go and get groceries. Predictability and stability are big desires moving forward. I can experience that in my own. I know that from my own life, and then through the conversations I've had with other small business owners and other Americans overall. So, if you are a small business owner that wants to connect with other small business owners in person who love this country, who care about this country, I love this country. I hope you love this country too. You can join us in Charleston, South Carolina for A Future Fest. This is where you can register as afuturefest.com. It's happening January 14th and 15th, 2027. The plan is to have over 300 small business owners from across industries, across the country to come together and focus on shaping the future and making America's future a small business renaissance, which again is making small business first. And then making sure too we're focused on human first, as we're living now in an age of AI, a world of AI. It's an important reminder for that there are alternatives that are out there. Remind Americans about those alternatives. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.